Happy New Year, everyone! It's officially 2020, and a new decade has started.
And not only does that mean that Malvie and I are halfway through the school year, it also means it's a brand new year for the 4-H program.
So today, we want to share with you what the 4-H program is, and why you should join it, as well as some of the great things it has helped us with, including the creation of our YouTube channel and the sharing of many beekeeping topics. But first, intro! Before we start, we have to go way back to the very beginning.
In January of 2012, our family and us moved from Argentina to here. I was about 8.5 years old. Malvie has just turned 5 years old. And that first year was all about adapting to the culture. So learning the language and also learning the Canadian beekeeping techniques used because we used to keep bees in Argentina. And the techniques used there are completely different than the ones here in Canada. So that was basically our first year in Canada.
And it wasn't until that end of the year that our mom was talking to one of her friends about horses. And then she told our mom about the 4-H program. Our mom got interested, and from all of that her friend told her, she knew it was a great opportunity for our family, especially Yara, our brother, and myself, to better learn the English language and also how to raise an animal because we live in a farm.
Long story short, I was the first person in our family to join the 4-H program in 2013. I was just 9 years old. That year is probably by far my favorite year because it was the first time in my life that I gave a speech in front of a large audience. I talked about bees actually, and I ended up winning first in districts and regionals as well. So it was a pretty big deal for me because not only did I get to share something I was passionate about, but I shared it in a language that I was still learning. And alongside with that, I got to raise my 3 meat birds. That was my 4-H, my first 4-H project. And I continued being in 4-H until Malvie joined in 2016. There we did a demonstration about how to produce bee pollen in a small scale. And yeah, so enough storytelling. Malvie will share with you now some history about the 4-H program.
4-H has been around for over 100 years. By the late 1800s, researchers discovered that young people were open to new ideas and experience with adults as they worked in agriculture projects. Youth programs were then introduced, and the idea of hands-on learning came from the desire of country life education. By 1902, clubs were formed and 4-H was born. And a fun fact, the first club was called the Tomato Club or the Corn Growing Club. After school, clubs and fairs were included. In 1910, the 4-H pin was developed, which had an H on each leaf. Previously, it was just head, heart, and hands. And finally, in 1912, the clubs were called 4-H clubs.
In 1914, 4-H was nationalized, and by 1918, the 4-H pledge was written. It is, I pledge my head to clear thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, my health for better living, for my club, my community, my country, and my world. Now, some clubs add as a true 4-H member or as a loyal 4-H member before they say the pledge. The 4-H motto is learn to do by doing, which also applies to the earlier idea on hands-on learning. And finally, in 1924, the 4-H clubs adopted the new 4-H emblem. In 1910, like Malvie said, it was 3 leaves, head, heart, and hands. Now it is 4 leaves, head, heart, hands, and health.
Even though the program started in the United States, 4-H is the largest youth development organization with more than 6.3 million youths involved worldwide. The 4-H program has also reached more than 70 countries in North, Central, South America, Europe, Asia, and Africa, including Kenya, Ethiopia, and Zambia.
4-H in different countries is also known in different names. For example, in Canada we call it 4-H. In Costa Rica they call it 4S. Even though it has a different name, it still means the exact same thing. And it's amazing to see the variety of youth and cultures involved with this program. So, this is just a little bit of history about the 4-H program from the late 1800s to what is now today, 2020. And now comes the fun part. What is the 4-H program?
First off, the mission of 4-H in Canada is to empower youth to be responsible, caring, and contributing leaders that affect positive change in the world around them. The 4-H program in Canada works in 3 levels:
National, provincial, and local.
However, 4-H Canada as a whole has 4 programs.
Number 1, community engagement and communications. This is by far our favorite program because this is where we include all of our speaking as well as all of our volunteering and also participating in events around our community to show and demonstrate leadership. This is also where Malvie and I tie our YouTube channel into 4-H because this is where we communicate the message about bees. But we'll talk about it further in the video.
Number 2, science and technology. This program is called STEM, which means science, technology, engineering, and math. Interested in science and programming? This part of 4-H is for you.
Number 3, environment and healthy living. This is all about being outdoors, learning how to keep your body healthy, and doing a lot of outdoor activities. So if you're that person that loves being outside, loves nature, this part of 4-H is for you.
And finally, number 4, sustainable agriculture and food security. It is all about being involved and understanding where our food comes from.
Pineapple from Costa Rica.
How is it grown and produced? And how the practices used in agriculture affect the environment.
All of these programs are what make up 4-H. However, the program that Malvie and I are specifically in is the community engagement and communications. And it's amazing how many things you can do in just this program. Here's what they are. Number 1, public speaking as well as participating in events like so.
It's divided in 3 parts, called head, thorax, and abdomen. As a second generation of beekeepers, I wanted to express my concern about the actual situation that our bees are involved. Step number 4, go to your colony and gently remove the basket out of the trap.
Some other flowers will also grow naturally in our gardens around them.
Let me picture this horror movie. It's fall, and a very upset honeybee. I have a big love and respect for bumblebees. They are my friends.
And 3, it is claimed that monocultural practice increases profit from growing high-gross margin crops. Number 2, raise an animal. So you learn how to feed, manage its control, keep records. You also get to bring it to the fair and show it. And if not, you can also do any other project that's not an animal, such as photography, leathercraft, basically all that you call non-livestock. Number 3, compete in judging competitions. Here's where you judge your own project as well as other projects. And finally, number 4, go to trips. Here, you get to travel basically anywhere. You also get to learn, new agricultural techniques if it has to do with 4-H. You get to participate in many cultural learning. And this year, actually, I got to go to the PNE to judge because I got first place in the judging rally. And in the end, you get the opportunity to receive awards.
These are just few things that 4-H members can do. Now, we're at the end of this video, and we want to share with you 2 interviews that we did with 2 people that are involved in 4-H. Here's the first one.
Continuing this video, I have the great opportunity today to interview an amazing woman. She has been involved in 4-H for many years. She's not only involved in this program but also many community programs. And here she is, Robin Jansen, who is also our club's 4-H leader. So thank you so much for your time. First off, could you just please tell us and our audience, what is the 4-H program to you?
Oh, I first got involved with 4-H 7 years ago when my son did 4-H, and it meant just involvement in the community for him, learning new things. He has some memory issues, and so that helped with that. What is 4-H? 4-H is a program that's for youth. It's been around for over 100 years now. It's in 70 different countries, and there's something like 77,000 kids involved in it in Canada. And locally, it's very, very busy, and we have usually well over 100 kids involved. There's different projects. We have cattle, horse, swine, photography, and leathercraft. It helps build a lot of things like kids learn how to do speeches, how to do projects, timelines, lots of pressure, just many, many different things to learn.
Mm-hmm. And alongside with that, what do you think when children and youth are involved, what opportunities does it have for them in the future?
Well, it teaches them how to do stand and talk in front of a bunch of people. I never really had the opportunity as a child, and so it's very good for not being overly shy or concerned about the world around you. It probably makes pretty good executives. It makes excellent farmers. It really teaches you everything you really need to know for the world around you.
Mm-hmm. And in your opinion, how do you think 4-H influences, specifically our community?
Well, it's very highly involved with the community. So we have many businesses that get really involved. There are sponsors. They buy things from us at the auction at the end of the year at our fair. The community is really highly involved. Even when we have things like our family night that we have just in our district, how many people come and buy stuff and are involved there and everything.
Yeah, well, thank you again so much for your time. And the last question that I have is, what would you tell parents if they're thinking about, sending their kids into 4-H, but they're not so sure about it? What would you tell them if they're in that dilemma?
Well, first of all, you'd want to find out if they are concerned, whether it's a time crunch or whether it's financial difficulty. Some parents need to know about the program and what all it involves. Others, they just need to realize that there's lots of projects that their kids can do that are not expensive, that don't require even animals or any of that kind of stuff. It's just a good program to get into because the kids would learn a lot, and it's really doesn't take up that much of your time. It's usually once a month, unless you have something like swine or cattle that take a lot of your time. Mm-hmm. But I think it's probably worth it.
Yes, it is. And again, thank you so much for your time. And yeah, well, I'm pretty excited for this upcoming year for 4-H. It's going to be my 8th, her 5th, I think, 5th or 6th year. And well, we're really happy that we have you as a leader because you have, influenced us quite a lot. And we are grateful for all your work you do, not just in the 4-H program, but also in the community. So thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
And lastly, here is an interview of one of our fellow 4-H members who is now finished 4-H, and him and I have a long history when it came into competing for public speaking. So here it is.
Hey guys, Yara here, and today I'm in the BVX fair in Smithers, and I'm here with one of my friends, 4-H friends, Grady. So thank you so much for
Yeah, no
letting us
problem.
some time to do this little interview. So first off, could you just briefly introduce yourself? How long have you been in 4-H, and why did you join, basically?
I've been in 4-H, this is my 8th year, and I joined, my mom had actually done it a lot for her childhood, and I just kind of wanted to do it because I've come from a long line of farmers, and I really just kind of wanted to get my hands dirty and just kind of see like what it's all about mostly. So.
And your whole family is involved then, I'm guessing?
Yes, all my siblings are also involved.
So that's good. And you've been in 4-H for 8 years. How has 4-H helped you?
Mostly through communications, I find. I was quite shy before I started, but then as I began to do speaking and just talking to people and getting out there, I've learned to not to be afraid of what people technically think of me, but just also to be able to communicate with people as much.
Yes, that public speaking has also helped me quite a bit.
It's super important.
Yeah. So, and what do you think, other than for you, public speaking helped you gain a little bit more confidence, less shy? What other skills do you think new 4-H members will gain if they do 4-H?
Just mostly knowledge, because knowing where your food comes from and how to raise it is so important. But yeah, you can learn so many different things. There's so many different programs you can do. I mean, our club, we do beekeeping, beef, sheep, hog. We do it all. So there's so many different things that you can do. But yeah, I would say knowledge is huge.
Yes,
huge in educating the public.
And also the motto, learn to do by doing.
Absolutely.
Obviously, everybody applies something through that motto.
Absolutely.
And finally, the last question basically is, there are some kids that they want to join, but they don't feel like they're very concerned about their schedule. How will that tie into my schooling? So what do you suggest for them to do?
Well, doing it for 8 years, I find usually in school I had a part-time job, so you just gotta kind of make time in your schedule. So after school, I would come home and work with my steer on days I wasn't working. So just always trying to fit that in, having that mindset that it's something super important that needs to get done. And even into this year, I've had my full-time job. I come home every night, do the chores, and I just start walking and practicing with these guys. And so it's technically a way of how much do you want to do it, and if you really want to do it, you will put the time.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Well, thank you for the interview. And this is Grady, and from the Top Leaf 4-H Club here at VVX. So thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
If you want to find out more information about 4-H, we did leave the 4-H Canada and 4-H website in the description down below. And also, there are tons of other resources. For example, if you have a club around your area that you may heard of, go and find out information from them as well. Remember, 4-H isn't just about raising an animal. There's many different things that you can do, like science, go out, have fun in the environment, do sewing, cooking, anything you want. There's a variety of different things that you do. We are very happy that we are in 4-H because it also motivated us to create our YouTube channel. Because Malvie and I have a long history with 4-H, and as well as public speaking specifically and sharing message about bees. We wanted to, share our message even more with more people around the world. And we came across YouTube, which is an amazing platform to find out information about anything you want. So, it started out from us speaking in front of an audience between 100 150 people physically. And now here we are, sharing the message about bees, and today about 4-H with you guys. So thank you for being our audience. We really appreciate that.
Yara and I were very excited to make this video, but most importantly, we're excited for the coming 4-H year because we're planning on what we're gonna do for public speaking. Now, if you're a youth between the ages of 5 to 18, we recommend you to join. It has helped us a lot. And if you're an adult, don't worry, you can always enter this program.
That's right. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. We hope that it helped you understand a little bit better on what the 4-H program is and also why it is important to the both of us. Please hit the like button if you are part of the 4-H program, or also if this video taught you something.
Leave a comment down below if you're in an area that has the 4-H program or if this video has helped you.
Also, don't forget to follow us on all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
And finally, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so that you will be notified every single time we upload a new video.
Remember, Malvie and I did set the goal to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, so 2020. So help us reach that goal. Also, feel free to share this video with all your friends and family.
My name is Malvie.
And my name is Yara, and you're watching Bees Are Funny. Happy New Year and good luck 4-H members.